Brand new Reddit story with updates. Hope you guys enjoy. Hello, Reddit. I'm a longtime lurker and first-time poster, so please bear with me. I, 34M, work as a project lead at a mid-sized marketing agency. I've been with the company for almost 5 years, and my current role requires me to balance managing my own projects, overseeing a small team, and keeping clients happy, which is no small task in this high-stakes industry. For context, I'm responsible for a mix of account management and creative direction, so I handle both the business side and the artistic side of our work. Our company has some pretty big clients, but our bread and butter comes from a few high-profile accounts, especially our longtime client, Zenith Tech, one of the top players in the tech world. They're known for being both demanding and high-paying, and their business makes up a decent portion of our company's revenue. So, naturally, when a project comes in for Zenith, every detail has to be airtight. Any mistake could be costly, both financially and in terms of reputation. My team is small but talented. There's Jared, 28M, a brilliant but somewhat introverted designer. Olivia, 32F, an incredibly sharp copywriter, and Ryan, 30M, a junior account manager who's still finding his footing but shows a lot of potential. Then there's Dana, 29F, the most recent addition to the team. Dana joined about a year ago, coming highly recommended with a solid portfolio and a background in content strategy. She's quick on her feet and full of creative ideas, but I'd noticed over the past year that she sometimes struggled with the finer details and often seemed to rush through tasks to get to the fun parts of her job. Setting the stage. With each project, I aim to distribute responsibilities fairly, allowing team members to shine in their respective strengths. Since Dana's primary focus is content strategy, I usually have her collaborate closely with Olivia on crafting the right messaging for our campaigns. Dana often excels in brainstorming sessions, coming up with angles I wouldn't have considered. She brings a fresh perspective and a certain spark to the team's energy, which has been both refreshing and occasionally a bit chaotic. I could tell Dana liked to think big, and while I appreciated her enthusiasm, I often found myself needing to slow her down, reminding her to double-check her work and think through her decisions carefully. Up until now, these little reminders were minor, part of the usual growing pains of adjusting to a new workplace. When the Zenith project came in, Dana was particularly excited. This project was a key launch for a product Zenith was preparing to unveil, and it would require every team member's absolute best. Zenith was clear about their vision. They wanted a sleek, minimalist ad campaign that highlighted their product's elegance and functionality. No bells or whistles, just clean, impactful messaging. We knew that this was the kind of job where any slip-up could cost us. The task at hand. I assigned Dana to handle the copy for Zenith's main ad with Olivia, who would review the final text before submission. Dana was thrilled, and I was hopeful this would be a chance for her to prove herself. I emphasized the importance of accuracy, and she assured me she'd triple-check every word. 2 days before the final draft was due, I was scheduled to meet with another client off-site. I trusted that Dana would finalize the copy with Olivia, and I checked in with her before heading out. She seemed confident, almost to a fault, and reassured me that she had everything under control. I reminded her once more to be meticulous, and she waved me off with a laugh, saying, I know, I'll be thorough. That evening, I received an email from Dana, saying that the ad copy was ready. Olivia had taken a last-minute personal day, so Dana assured me she'd reviewed it herself, and everything looked great. The mistake. The next morning, I arrived early to review everything before sending it off to Zenith. As I read through the copy, my heart sank. Dana had accidentally referenced the competitor's product, making it sound as if Zenith was promoting something that wasn't theirs. It was a glaring, unacceptable error, and one that would not only confuse the audience, but also undermine the credibility of the entire campaign. I felt a mixture of disbelief and dread. After I took a moment to process the situation, I called Dana over to discuss it. When I pointed out the mistake, her face paled. But instead of owning up to the oversight, she tried to brush it off, saying, "Oh, it's just a small typo. We can fix it before anyone notices." I had to remind her that this wasn't just a typo. It was a complete misrepresentation that would need an entire rework. At this point, I expected her to recognize the severity of the error. But instead, she suggested something that made my stomach twist. "Why don't we just tell Mark, our boss, it was a team error? You were out yesterday, so maybe we can say there was a communication gap or something." Her words hung in the air. I felt a wave of frustration rising. Not only was she suggesting we mislead our boss, but she was also subtly implying that my absence was part of the problem. I looked her square in the eye and told her, firmly but calmly, that I wasn't comfortable lying to cover up a mistake. I reminded her that mistakes happen, but integrity is non-negotiable. She didn't take that well. Her face turned red, and she started accusing me of not being a team player and throwing her under the bus. The talk with the boss. Despite Dana's protests, I made the decision to go to Mark and explain the situation. I wanted to be transparent and, most importantly, to take accountability for any failure on my part as the team lead. I explained the situation honestly, without singling Dana out unnecessarily, but Mark wanted specifics. I told him Dana was responsible for the copy and had missed a major detail, and that I'd already started working on a fix. Mark wasn't pleased, but he appreciated my candor. He said he would talk to Dana, which in hindsight, I thought might help her realize the importance of taking responsibility. After their meeting, though, Dana's attitude shifted dramatically. She was openly cold to me, giving me short, curt responses, and I could feel a change in the team's atmosphere. To make matters worse, I overheard her telling Jared and Ryan that I'd blindsided her and sold her out to the boss. Suddenly, I was the office villain. The rumors began. The fallout was swift. Dana began painting a picture where I was a rigid, unsupportive manager who would rather throw a team member under the bus than work together to solve a problem. Her version of the story started to circulate, and soon, coworkers I hadn't even spoken to were giving me sideways glances. One evening, after most people had left, Olivia pulled me aside. She caught wind of what happened and wanted to hear my side. I explained the whole situation, from Dana's mistake to her suggestion that we lie about it, and my decision to be upfront with Mark. Olivia listened carefully, nodding as I spoke, and when I finished, she shook her head in disbelief. "I can't believe she tried to pass it off like that," Olivia said. "She's the one who rushed through the copy, and now she's blaming you?" Olivia's support was a relief, but it was a small comfort. Dana had already spread her narrative far and wide, and it felt like I was constantly on edge, trying to defend myself without engaging in the same petty drama. Update 1. A few days later, I reached out to Dana for a one-on-one conversation to try to clear the air. I explained that I didn't mean to make her feel unsupported, but that I couldn't in good conscience misrepresent the situation to our boss. I emphasized that I valued her as a team member and wanted us to move forward with a clear understanding. She was visibly upset but seemed to soften as I spoke. She admitted that she felt overwhelmed by the pressure of the project and panicked when the mistake was pointed out. She even confessed that her defensiveness was partly due to embarrassment. While I thought we'd made some progress, the atmosphere didn't change much. Dana still seemed cold, and I'd catch her muttering under her breath when I walked by. Some of the other team members, while more cordial, seemed hesitant to engage with me the way they used to. Update 2. 1 week later, the HR involvement. Things reached a boiling point when Dana went to HR. She told them that my management style created a hostile work environment and that I'd singled her out unfairly. HR scheduled a meeting with both of us to mediate the situation. In the meeting, Dana was emotional, reiterating her belief that I'd thrown her under the bus. I calmly explained my side of the story, sticking to the facts. I even brought up how I tried to support her development on multiple occasions and had frequently checked in with her on projects. HR listened, and while they didn't take sides, they reminded us both of the importance of clear communication and mutual respect. After the meeting, Mark called me into his office and told me to keep an eye on the situation. It was as close as he could get to telling me he was on my side without saying it outright, but it was enough for me to feel validated. Final update. 1 month later. In the months since HR got involved, things have gradually started to improve. Dana and I had one final conversation where we agreed to put the past behind us and move forward professionally. I still catch glimpses of resentment from her, but the outright hostility has diminished. Several colleagues have since approached me privately, expressing support and sharing their own frustrations with Dana's behavior. It turns out, I wasn't the only one feeling strained by her approach to teamwork. As for me, this experience taught me that integrity in the workplace can sometimes be a double-edged sword, but I stand by my decision. Thanks, Reddit, for all your insights and encouragement.